Just trying to get this meeting over with.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, good afternoon, KK. How you feeling?
I'm all right. I need a
know
cup
you're
of
on the
coffee.
road. Are you
Yeah,
on the road?
yeah, I need a cup of coffee. But I got my tripod up.
You shouldn't have your tripod up and you riding with the kids in the car. You should just
Oh, please.
have the audio on. I mean, that's just
No, the audio's in my thing, but the tripod was just up anyway.
all
The
right. I'm
phone
just
is in
saying,
the
like it's
tripod.
I'm just gonna
Like
speak
I'm not touching the phone, is what I'm saying to you.
well, just as loud as you're speaking now. When I start asking questions about stocks, I want you to talk over me then too, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Make sure you're doing that. Let me see what's going on. Let everybody join. Time to get on. We will get started in a moment.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
Man, building this computer.
Hope
So,
you're ready for stocks.
yes, sir.
Good. We should have it be a good. Not gonna hold y'all too long. Try to stick to the script and keep it going. Try to give people a little while, a few minutes to join, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Had an interesting week, so we should have some good stuff to get through. Hope everybody had a good weekend.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Peter?
Not much. How you feeling?
Mr. Radway.
Well, Peter.
What's good? What's good, y'all?
My weekend was okay, besides the fact that I took my processor out and 3 pins were bent.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah,
Anybody look at any charts this weekend?
I didn't have any time to look at anything.
Okay, cool. All right.
So I am wrong.
Good morning, gentlemen. Or
Good
afternoon,
morning.
I'm
Good
sorry.
afternoon.
Afternoon.
Just getting off work.
I mean, it's morning somewhere.
Right.
Over
That is
here.
true.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna give the team a few more moments to join. Try to start at 2:05 and set my timer. Did the and I'm just asking because I'm not sure, did you guys get a notification that the meeting was starting?
The bot put something in the chat.
I mean,
Yeah,
was it,
At
I got
2
like
o'clock.
I think I got like 3 notifications.
okay, so I'm saying, so it
Yeah.
did like ping your phone, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and get started, because one thing I know for sure, the people who don't get here on time and pay attention are the ones who aren't consistently profitable. So can't wait on them and waste y'all time. I know you potato traders building a machine and we gotta get it going. So all right, so let's just get started. So by watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. I got stuck for a second reading that. I'm like, man, I read it every week. Got stuck. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. We could actually block out part of this because I did not update this side. All right, so we got a lot of data. We have a lot of data this week, man. So we have a lot to go through. So on Tuesday, we have JOLTS data. We have ADP payroll on Wednesday. We got GDP on Thursday. You know, the end of the month is on a Thursday. So we got GDP on Wednesday. So GDP comes out Wednesday. And we got pending home sales on Wednesday. We got core PCE data on Thursday. We got jobless claims on Thursday. And then we got non-farm payroll data on Friday. And we got a full house, ISM manufacturing PMI on Friday. So we have a lot of data that's coming out this week, man. So it's going to be an interesting market. And then after everything that Powell said at Jackson Hole, we're going to cover that in a second too. But yeah, interesting week, man. All right, here we go. So this is how the market ended the Friday before last. So this past Friday right here, this was the Friday before last. So I guess that was the week of the 18th. We had energy leading the charge, and communication services was the lagging sector. And this particular week, we had consumer discretionary, which is interesting, leading the charge, followed by tech. And then we had communication services still lagging. So see how this goes, man, this weekend. I mean, it was just a interesting turn of events that happened this week, but you know, the market was a pretty profitable week. So all right, as far as options flow, and on Friday, Tesla was had the highest call option volume, followed by Apple. It was by a long shot. And then we had Nvidia as the last one, well, the top three. On the put side, we had Meta. They shorted Meta. It was shorting Target and MDT. On the week, we had Johnson & Johnson as the highest call flow volume, Coin, and Apple. On the put side, we had Tesla, Zoom, and Microsoft. So, okay, cool. So that was the options order flow that we had, man. Just looking for something. We're going to hit a few things, man. So, all right, I guess we can start with Jackson Hole, man. All right. So Jackson Hole Friday. I mean, everybody was available for that. I'm sure everybody was watching. Situation, saw what Powell had to say, right? So pretty much what he said, just as a recap, he said inflation was too high for the Fed. And so I don't know if this speech was a little longer than the last one. And it wasn't as shocking because, like I told y'all last Sunday, if Powell didn't say anything that we didn't know, that and the market, and then I said this on, I don't know what day it was. I think it was around Thursday, telling the team that that the market had already sold off. The market they've kind of been pricing in the hawkishness of this speech. So the market was kind of anticipating things. So the market already kind of sold off too. So if Powell didn't come in there and shock us with anything or just give us anything too hawkish, then we wouldn't really get much of a punishment on the market. And so yeah, so he came in, he said we knew that inflation was too high for the Fed, and Powell was very dismissive, and he didn't directly say that they were going to stick to that 2% inflation target, because in order to do that, then there's a lot more that's to come, right? So he was Powell liked to dance around anyway, and plus you got to understand also that there are a lot of algos that are driven by news headlines. So Powell was very particular in what he said to kind of keep to I guess prevent things from getting a little out of hand. He also said they're prepared to raise interest rates more if needed. And so like he said, he would be careful in decision making, right? So, and obviously he always says the same thing as based on the totality of all of the data, right? And so obviously we have some important, the Fed's most important or primary measure of inflation is coming up this Thursday, which is PCE data. So we will be watching that to see how that goes. And so we have an interesting week ahead of us, man. So how did y'all feel about that speech? I mean, did anybody even pay attention to it, or were you guys watching the market, the volatility in the market as he was speaking? I mean, me personally, I felt like the speech was cool. The market didn't really react until the speech was over. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting speech for me. And
So I originally thought the speech sounded extremely neutral, but I mean, you kind of broke it down when we were on the Zoom on Friday that it was extremely hawkish. Like he just used words to basically hide what he was saying exactly.
yeah, I forgot you were on Zoom Friday. Yeah, so yeah, it was the case. Yeah, it was cool though. What's up, Kevin?
And I just kind of because I was listening to it sounded hawkish to me, but honestly I kind of expected what he was going to say.
Yeah, so he didn't really surprise us at all. And
Mhm.
I just can't believe that there were people who really thought that he was going to be done with raising rates. So
Right. I kind of expected it.
yeah. And then we got so remember how crazy the non-farm payroll data was last month. Now this month they're expecting 17, they're expecting plus 170,000, sorry. Now last month we had plus 187,000. Like I said, I don't pay attention to this these these numbers, man, because I would not be surprised if they get a re-rate when the jobs data come out this week too, because every time they always re-rate what happened the previous on the next one. It's just like it's never accurate. So we'll see how that goes and go from there. But yeah, just interested in seeing how it goes and go from there. We're gonna get to NVIDIA in a second. All right, so what's up with SPY? We can start there. Yeah, so I know I saw, I kind of touched on this in the chat just based off of some commentary that I saw in the chat. But yeah, SPY was kind of a little mixed for me heading into the close. So it was one of those things where unless you're a gambler, it was no reason to swing or jump into anything to swing because SPY didn't give me enough data to go one way or the other. I mean, there's more data to the downside, but there are some signs that you could get a move to the upside too, because I mean, bulls did find a way back on Friday and they finished with a hammer on the daily. So that is a nice indication. I mean, we got more bearish indicators though. If you look at it, we got the 9 EMA crossing below the 50. We have we also have this reject right here. SPY rejected the hell out of that 50 right there. We also have an inverse hammer on the weekly. Let me see what the monthly looks like. Yeah, and then we got, so we got a 222 reversal on the monthly. But look, like I said, just got to wait and see how things play out, because remember on what was it, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, the night that NVIDIA reported earnings, the market started to move, right? And just after hours, because they beat earnings and smashed guidance, right? But it was short-lived, but it was market moving initially. You saw that, right? It was market moving initially, and it moved not just SPY, it moved QQQ, and just everything just started moving. So it was enough to push the market in one direction or the other. It was like the market was waiting to see what NVIDIA thought, and market removed off of that. But we saw it was all short-lived because, like I said before, all of that was priced in. And so we didn't get much of the market. The move that they gave was not able to that move was just a huge move. I know everybody's been watching it since last earnings. It's been moving crazy. So yeah, so we got to see. So here is SPY, man. It's just going to be a lot to watch. Now, obviously, no, there was another key that I left out. I just left out. SPY closed over one of my key levels too. So that was another thing, which is barely, but it closed over my key level. And we got that hammer. But like I said, we got more bearish signals than bullish. So to me, that was neutral. It was a mixed close. So it was no reason to swing anything. It's not, you can't just have like, we know it's Friday, the end of the day, heading into the close, so we're going to swing. No, if they're just the times that we did swing, it just so happened to be a setup, that I saw that was undeniable. And so we swung. But if I don't see those setups, then I'm not swinging. It's not a thing. I don't have to swing. And so, yeah, that's just how that goes. So yeah, it's a lot that can happen, but I need the market to tell me. I need some confirmation and one way or the other in order to make some moves, man. And and after what Powell just told us, now I just told y'all we got a lot of data this week. So there's going to be a lot of indication of what can, there are going to be a lot of catalysts that can move this market in one way or another, just based off all of the stuff we just covered. So let me keep it moving. Second. Now we'll go over to NVIDIA. Well, hold on. Make sure I stick with my slides first. Second. All right, cool. So recap and lessons learned. Anybody had anything they want to recap or any lessons learned? Okay, I do. So yeah, so we had a great week last week, man. And I see that. A shout out to the new people in the group, man. We got a lot of new people in the group, and they came in, hopped right into action, and even just some existing members. But I'm just saying, just gotta give a shout out to the new folks too. Came in and just jumped in following the process. Made a lot of money in the group last week, and it's good to see that, man. Especially when you got a solid plan and it comes together and it plays out, right? And so just wanted to kind of shout them out, number one, and shout the team out. But I just want to say this, man. We got a lot. So we got a lot to look forward to for the rest of the year. I've been telling y'all that for a while. And it's gonna come in these types of ways, man. Everything, if the market was that easy for everybody to just make money just like that, then everybody would be doing it. I tell y'all this all the time, and it's not to scare y'all, but I don't want to be one of those guys that say, oh, trading is easy, because it's not easy. Sometimes we make it look easy, but it's not easy. And but if you follow the plan, you can make a lot of money in this market. For this month, and again, this was a slow month for me because I probably called out less than half of the trades that I would typically call out for and for this month of August. And we still netted 3,100 in profit. So we netted, obviously that's subtraction, that's minus the losses. So when you subtract the losses from the wins, we are left with $3,100 in profit, right? And again, that's not including any of the meta profits that I personally made last week. So just and there are other things that aren't included in that, but the whole point I'm trying to make is, if the process is followed, then we can make money. People will see a play get cut or a trade get lost or something like that, and we will see a play get cut or just some trades not get called out for a while, and then everybody just lose sight of the plan and just move on and start doing other things. And then it may work out in the short term. You may get a few $100s, but then when those trades come out that, like, again, because I always think if I call out a trade and the trade is $200 and we cut that trade at 25%, I'm thinking, okay, well, then there's $150 left over from that trade. So I'm going to call out a trade that's within that range. So if you're following the process, then like, for example, Apple, for example, the Apple trade was $75. It printed to over $460, you know, overnight. And so that's just how we trade. We trade like that all the time. And but a lot of times people miss those trades. They don't get into those trades because they didn't cut the original trade like they were instructed to, or they, you know, or just they're not trusting the next trade because of the fact that they over leveraged on the previous trade, even though it was a swing. Because you know what I always tell you, and I got an example. I kind of showed it in the chat already, so I'm not going to play the slide now. I took the slide out because I did a trade. I did a meta trade specifically just to show the team something, because I'm noticing we had an alarming amount of traders, and I'm just going off of the people who share their stuff with me on a personal tip. So I'm not going to put anybody out there. I'm just saying this is stuff that was personally shared with me. People are blowing their accounts, man, but they're not following the process. They're not following the process. So, you know, me personally, if I'm going to swing on a 1 day to expiry or 0 day to, or, you know, swing into 1 day to expiry or 0 day to expiry, I'm not grabbing probably more than one contract. People will say, well, you make all this money, why not? I'm like, that's why I keep money. That's why I'm still in the game. And that's why, you know, this is my full time, because I'm not trying to get, you know, rich overnight or off of, I'm just trying to consistently make money. And you can add to trades, but when you swing, you should not be swinging, because again, I had a crazy setup for Meta. I posted it everywhere. It was so much confluence to the downside, and you know, and it played out to perfection. But what I saw is, so this is just the thing, and it's going to help everybody, in my opinion. So like, you can have a stock. I know a lot of people got stocks that they like to trade. You know, we got the SPXs, we got the Googles, we got the Microsofts, you know, we got all of these stocks that we like to trade and stuff too. But this is a very important thing. And I talked about this on Zoom on Friday, but I'm gonna hit on this because this is so important. Just because I tell y'all that the market forecast is to the downside or something like that, it doesn't mean your favorite stock is in play. You know what I mean? Sometimes you still got to stick to the plan, especially based on where you are in the process. You know what I mean? If you are still learning and you're trying to be more consistent and you're trying to generate income, you should be sticking to the process. You shouldn't be trying to prove that your stock can run or something like that. Like, you're losing money doing that. I'll give you an example. So so last week, Meta, for example, was in play. And I told everybody Meta was in play to the downside. That didn't mean that every stock was, because we on Zoom on Friday, Tesla was not in play. Tesla, I was telling the team on Zoom on Friday, I'm like, look, Tesla is bullish, man. Look at how it was holding. It's setting up. It had every single clue to let us know that it was not trying to go down. So just because the overall market sentiment was bearish doesn't mean that the stock that you're trying to trade is in play. You have to still make sure that stock is in play. You got to know how to read the market and read the market structure of the stock that you're trying to trade. It's so many levels to this. It's not just choosing a stock and jumping in it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, a lot of those things are very important to pay attention to. I told the team on Friday exactly where the market was going to flip. Me and Katie, we were on there having a lot of conversation about it. Shout out to Katie, because we was on there. We had a good conversation on Friday, and we were talking about where the market would flip, and waiting for the confirmation. The market did exactly what we thought it would do. It bounced where at key levels where it could likely bounce at. And we just paid attention to that. We didn't force the market to keep going down because it was Jackson Hole and because of what happened last Jackson Hole. We saw what the market was going to do. And again, just even if we just use Meta as an example, still, I even brought up Meta on there. I told the team where the price targets were on Meta, but I also had another setup on Meta. I'm like, well, Meta has to lose a certain level in order for Meta to lead to break down and go to 271. I'm like, well, if Meta doesn't lose 276, then I'm not worried about 271. I was out of that trade at, turned that $98 into $908. You know what I mean? So, and that was in less than a few hours, and was done trading for the day. I didn't touch any other trades that day because there was no reason. And just keep in mind what I said. I don't care how much money I make in the market. I'm not I swung that Meta contract because it was and it was only $98, but only $98 times whatever. You got that mindset, and that's why, if you keep blowing your account, that's probably why. But I'm like, you should be able. It's all about risk to reward ratio, and based off that setup, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna swing this contract, but it's a possibility because the market may come down tomorrow. It could gap up first. So I'm not swinging this heavy. Number one, I can always add to that position tomorrow if I need to, but I didn't add to it at all because I wanted to prove something to the team because, like I said, there's so many people blowing their accounts lately, not following the process. And it's crazy. You would think, and it was so crazy, you would think that we didn't make any money this month. And like I said, we're up 3,100 on the month because it's just because less plays are being called out, but that's just by choice, and I'm not calling out as many plays. And then I'm also waiting for the better opportunities. And if I'm going to cut a trade, then I'm not so anxious to get back into another trade. Sometimes you got to step back and come back with fresh eyes, just reevaluate things. You can't revenge trade. So we're doing a lot of that too, so on days where I'm not trading, based off your level in the group, we got that tiered system for a reason. You shouldn't be trading either. Like I was saying before, you can actually roll back on the trading scale. And I don't know how serious it is to a lot of you, but to me, it's serious. I just want everybody to be successful. And there's no reason why, like I said, we're up more than that now. So we're up like over 20 something $1,000 on the year. And a lot of you are talking about breaking even. I'm like, what? How is that possible? So even if you took losses or anything, we're netting over 20K right now on the year per option. So that's if you only grab one of each trade that got called out, right? So if you're not at least at 15, and like I said, I'll give it some margin. I'm like, if you're not at least up 15K on the year, at least, then that means you need to reevaluate your ego and start locking in on this plan, because that's what you're here for. And I just want to see more of the people that's been here for a while sticking to the plan and not jumping into random trades, not trying to, prove that you know stuff. Just prove that to yourself that you can stick to the plan and make it work for you. Because again, we just need to be consistently doing things. Shouldn't nobody be wiped out in this group? I'm not trading that recklessly. So how are you guys wiped out? You know what I mean? So, and then I see, like, I just want everybody to be successful, right? So if I'm giving you the blueprint and it's working, if it's not working for you, it's because you can't, it's not too much more to say about it, but I'm just saying that, I just want to make sure, because like I said, right now, this is a study group. This is our weekly options prep, our weekly options forecast. So we have all this time to discuss whatever we need to discuss, but nobody had anything that they needed to bring up or any recap. And then, but during the trading week, then everybody got some questions or they're not really locked in, and it's becoming a problem. But it's becoming a problem because I'm not around as much anymore. So typically I would be around and just like to, just to make sure the team is good. But like I said, if I'm not getting many questions on here, like real questions or any participation, it's like, well, I know they don't really need me through a week like that. I mean, obviously, I'm there, but I'm saying that outside of the allotted times that I'm there or the trades. So I got some good setups for this week, and we got some good trades. We got some good earnings. We got a lot of stuff that's coming up this week, but it's only going to work if you work. You know what I'm saying? And you got to And if you're jumping out of trades too early, it's because you don't know how to read price action. It's just no way to sugarcoat that, you know? If you're selling prematurely, you know, it's just like if you're getting in trades too late, it's like you're not sure how to read support and resistance or supply and demand zones. It's these things. So we got to really just lock up. We got to just get a little better, man, as a team, so that everybody could, you know, enjoy the second half. Well, we got less than a second half. We got about a quarter left, right? 2 quarters, about 2 quarters left. Yeah, about that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, damn, hold on. It's September is in a few weeks. Well, next week is September. So we got, wow. So we got 1 quarter left. We got 1 quarter left in this year. So you're going to lock in, or you're going to end this year and then set a New Year's resolution and then start the next new year off the same way. You know, it's just like we're winning here. So we're winning. We're going to finish this year out strong. If you quit, and that's just, you know, that's fine, you know, but think about it. If you're a quitter, then that's just it, man. It's not going to be easy. Anything that you're going to do in life is going to be hard, but I'm going to move on. I just wanted to kind of just hit that. And again, I was going to go a different way with that. But since we have no lessons learned or discussions from this whole team, and I see, look, the new people in the group, man, putting up more money than y'all putting up. And that's because they following the process. You know what I'm saying? And they making y'all look bad. And I don't like that. I want the whole team to lock in and make the rest of this year, because it's a lot of time left. It's a lot of time to tighten up. So yeah, but I'm gonna move on. So check this out, man. This is NVIDIA chart right here. This is the daily chart. I had the weekly up, but I'm switching over to the daily because I want you to see how this looks, man. So this is where NVIDIA chooses to slow down its momentum at the top of this channel. We come back. I'm gonna open it up a little bit now, right? So this is where we are right now. Nice bounce off the 21 and the 9, and still a bearish close. And I just don't like this at all. We got that 222 reversal, you know, crazy earnings. But look, this is the crazy thing about this though, right? Like I said, this is a daily, man. This is the earnings from the last year. This is last quarter's earnings right here. Still holding all of that. It ran all the way up here since last quarter. And this is where we are right now. Where do we go from here? I mean, it looked like it wants to come down and try to fill this earnings gap, but we'll have to see, man, because it's pretty exhausted. But I feel like this is my thing right here. Now, this is where fundamentals still come into play. They smashed last quarter earnings. So now we got all of these catalysts that are coming up this week that kind of got in the, that got in the way. It's one of my alarms. So last week we had all of those catalysts that kind of, not really, I'm not going to blame catalysts, because NVIDIA was running all week up until its earnings, right? And we got the earnings, and the earnings was great, but it could have been better, I guess, right? The guidance still could have been better. I guess everything could have been better. I thought they smashed earnings. I thought they smashed it, but I guess not as good as it could have for the price to have run it the way it did since last earnings. I guess, you know, we have to look at that. So a lot of people took profit, but it didn't sell off as much as it could have. And so like I said, we got JOLTS data on Tuesday. So we will see how the market moves off of that and all of the other huge catalysts that we have this week. We got a full week of huge economic catalysts, as we discussed at the beginning of this call. But yeah, so we got to see how this goes, man. Right now, it's not too bad. It didn't do too bad on Friday. I mean, they sold off quite a bit, but it didn't do too bad on Friday. We'll see how this plays out. I like this setup, because if it does break down, if it does lose that 21, then I know we'll fill that gap. That'll be a nice move. That'll be a nice move down to back to, oh wow, that'd be right back to 433, somewhere around that range. Interesting. But yeah, that's if that happens, man. I mean, but again, they had a nice earnings, and if the market end up running this week, then I'm pretty sure they'll probably take that with it. So we'll see. But it was one of the most shortest stocks this week, heading into the end of the week. Did that summary. So yeah, just interesting. I just think this is an interesting place to slow down here. And if we look at this chart with a unbiased lens, everything about it look bearish. Now let's take another look. Let's look at the weekly, and let's look at the monthly, because we got the monthly closing on Thursday. So let's take a look at it with the weekly. Sheesh. So we have a inverse hammer on the weekly right there above that gap fill. So I mean, but again, that's all earnings related, and trying not to be biased at all. Okay. And this is the monthly here. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a lot of time left in this month. Sounds crazy, but it really is a lot of time left in a month. So we will see how this plays out. So let's move back over here to Meta. So this is Meta. Meta on the weekly, we got an inverse hammer. We got a hammer on the daily, but this chart is just, and again, you know how I feel about trading Meta, but if anything, we can get a night, maybe fill this gap here, or try to get a little surge, get a retest up here of this 50 before a flush, if the market is going to sell off. But they were buying up Meta heading into the close. Now we got the 9 about to cross below the 50 here on the daily too. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. Again, with all of this economic data we got, it's going to be one of those situations where it kind of sways where the market goes. And we will be watching. I got a few setups on it though. I will post them in the chat. One sec. Tesla. Tesla had an interesting close on Friday. Now look at this versus all of the other stocks that the few stocks that I just showed you, right? Look how bullish Tesla was on Friday. This is where it opened. This was the low. So it never really got tested at all on Friday. Look, this was where it closed. Tesla even gapped up on Friday. So, yeah, so it was a nice move. It was a nice move. Tesla had a nice move on Friday. So we're going to keep an eye on Tesla for this week. Now, let me switch over here to Tesla. Hold on this chart. On this side. Yeah, this is a nice one. So we got a 222 reversal on Tesla on the weekly. Really, really nice chart. Let me see what the month looks like on here, how that's coming together. Okay. They've eaten up most of that. Okay. Starting to turn out to be a good situation for Tesla. Like I said, I like the way Tesla's chart looks, man. Looks great. And of course, I just want to take a look at the session hour, because it means a lot to me when I'm trading Tesla specifically. Oh yeah, everything is in confluence here for Tesla, man. So Tesla has a really nice chart, and I like the way this setup looks. It looks like it wants the 50 on the daily. So yeah, Tesla really bullish. Then we got a green oscillator bar for the first time since, when was that? Since July 5th. July 5th. Oh yeah, I remember July 5th like it was yesterday. So yeah, first green oscillator bar since July 5th. But yeah, you see, it was just but I was telling y'all Tesla was bullish soon as the market opened. Like it wasn't even 10:30 yet. It was like a little after 10:30. It wasn't 11 yet for sure. And I'm telling y'all, Tesla it just was bullish. Market wasn't bullish at the time, but Tesla was. And so yeah, really, really nice close for Tesla. Keep that one on watch. Sec. All right, so I gotta show y'all this chart. Hold on, I don't like this chart, man, because they're not changing at the same time. The weekly up here, just to show you what's going on. Actually, let me close this out. All right, so now make this a weekly. Now, Nike got sold off like crazy last week, man. It's been seeing a lot of pressure, and they stopped it from having a continuation, right? They kind of stopped it right here at a nice key level. So I'm like, are they going to stop Nike here, or is it going to have a continuation? I guess I like Nike here. I think that if anything, there's a big possibility that it bounces, but we will see how the market carries this. So it's definitely a stock that's on watch, because this is a key level right here where they stopped it. So again, we don't have a whole lot of data, but this is the weekly chart, and Nike was stopped right here after flushing out. And so it's just definitely something to keep on watch here. So I will be watching Nike, and we go down to a lower time frame just for a second. So, I mean, like I said, chart is ugly, but Nike at these prices down here seems like something they're going to try to save. And there's a nice gap right there if they do save it. It's a few of them. So Nike is on watch for sure at these levels. So we'll keep Nike on watch. Matter of fact, let me just take a look at something about probabilities in this market, man. Definitely about probabilities. And I just like Nike here. Where's that gap? That gap. Oh yeah. So that gap is right. Yeah, I like this. I like this right here, man. I like this. I think Nike should be able to close this gap. At least that's what they're going to try to do. I think they're going to try to close this gap for Nike, but we got to watch and see what price tells us. But yeah, you can't ignore Nike right here. I think it would be foolish to ignore Nike, especially if the market tries to come back. And you also have to look, right? Everything's selling off on Friday, and Nike finishes with a hammer after flushing the way it did. So yeah, I like Nike. I like Nike back to 100. So I'm going to keep this on watch. You heard it here. I will chart this also. See what's going on. Let me move on. Next slide. All right. So yeah, so we got some earnings, man. Like CrowdStrike, Salesforce is the number one that I'm watching right now. Also, we got Lulu on here, but look, actually, so I got Broadcom, I got Salesforce and Broadcom circled in red for a reason, because Broadcom is going to be the one that's going to show us if NVIDIA is going to come down, or is it going to really go up? You know, Broadcom is a really big one, and it's not overpriced. It's not as overpriced as NVIDIA is right now, right? Valuation wise and all that. So I like, I'm not trading Broadcom at all. I'm just saying that's going to be a catalyst for NVIDIA. So we'll see if they have a run up for this one. We also got, like I said, Lulu was on here. We got Dollar General on here. And Okta is on here. CrowdStrike is on here. So we got a few stocks on here that probably should be watched that will have a nice earnings run up. I don't really play Okta like that, but I like Okta. And but it can be a mover. But yeah, it's a few stocks on here, but the ones that I am, like I said, I'm watching. Salesforce is the top one that I'm looking at in terms of just for setups to trade. So let's go and take a look at Salesforce. See, look how they did that on Friday. So Salesforce has a nice finish inside on the week and inside on the day. So inside on the day and the week for Salesforce, we got this setup right here. I mean, it looks nice. I like Salesforce heading into earnings. I just hope that the market doesn't ruin it. So it's still holding this breakout right here too. So a nice chart on Salesforce. I like it a lot. you know, Salesforce can be a wild card, but just I like it a lot. I like what I'm seeing here. And I think that if this week goes the way, if we have a nice week, man, then we can get a nice move on some of these stocks. Salesforce, when they reported, said I think it was the Wednesday they report after the close. So that's enough time for a nice move, man. We need to break above the 21. We break above the 21 and we can make a nice move towards that gap. And yeah, I like this stock. I like it here. And I think we can have a nice run up for earnings. We got the MACD about to cross over the signal line, looking for a green oscillator bar. I like the way this setup looks, man. And again, like I said, Salesforce is the one. So this is something that we will be watching and keeping an eye on. Let's see. And y'all know Salesforce is a big mover earnings wise too. So it's one that, so we may get a nice, that's why I'm not necessarily anticipating, because again, it depends on what the overall market does. They are pricing in a $16 move right now. Well, as of Friday, they were pricing in a $16 move on Salesforce. I don't, you know, so we'll see how that works and go from there. But I like the double inside on the day and the week. So we got a nice one set up here. So again, like I said, keep a eye on this one. We go over to QQQ. There's QQQ. We got a 222 reversal on the week for QQQ, but we also, but it's not enforced. We got an inverse hammer. We kind of got a hammer on the daily, but we got that same rejection that SPY has. So it's going to depend on how, you know, just how things play out. If tech, because every sector finished green on Friday. So we did have a comeback. The market did come back after absorbing what Powell had to say. But like I said, man, I believe we're gonna have a crazy week. It's gonna be a volatile week, man. I showed y'all all of the economic data we have this week. We got the big dogs coming out this week. So it's gonna be a crazy week overall. Just looking for something to happen, man, something big to happen. But again, it's all about follow the price action. I don't have a setup on SPY or QQQ right now because, again, like I said, I don't have enough data to see, you know, I don't have enough information right now to determine where they're going to go. We have to wait and see how they play out. You know, one day of data isn't enough, but the stocks within those ETFs are going to help us make those decisions, right? So we have to kind of pay attention to them. I'm gonna go back and bring up, my bad. Go back and bring this up real quick. This J&J chart. They held up, J&J held up relatively well. Let me get this monthly off of here. That's our weekly on J&J. And this is the daily. So we got that 222 reversal on the daily, rejected the hell out of the 9 EMA, but it still finished green and relatively strong. So we'll see what they're going to try to do with this on this upcoming week, but it's definitely one to watch. It's one to watch as a nice swing trade because it's been really resilient and it's holding the trend. So I like this one. I really like this one. So just keep it on, keep an eye on it. Hold on one second. Keep an eye on this stock, man. Just something to keep an eye on. And so I just say keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it, and because it's been relatively strong lately after pulling back. We got that reversals, we got that pivot, and we can just see if we can break through. We can get through there. We should be able to make a move on this one. But they were buying it up last week, and I just think it's something that should be kept on watch. Google was another one that had a strong finish on Friday. Check. Here's Google right here. So we had a nice move on Google, and I still think it finished strong on the daily. We closed just above the 9 EMA and almost at my key level that I have drawn right here, right? So the way Google finished, man, I thought this was extremely strong. We still got a bullish engulfing on the weekly also. So it's kind of almost, it wasn't quite an inverse hammer, but we got a bullish engulfing on the weekly and a hammer on the daily with a close over the 21, the 50, the 9, and right at my key level. So I like Google right here, man. You just got still more work to do, but got to keep it on watch. It's definitely something to keep on watch. So, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people people be staying away from Google because I mean, Google is a slow mover. It's a slower mover stock. It's not one of the big moving tech stocks or whatever, but it's definitely a nice mover though. And if you play it right and the right entries on it, it can actually be a nice stock to trade. So keep that one on watch also. Let's see. Let me make sure. Let me see, what do I have next? All right. Do we have any questions? Oh, no questions, man.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, KD? The chairman.
Not no real questions like that. It's just like my sentiments going into next week. I find it interesting with that the weekly candle on QQQ. I know September is usually like, a low value month with like tech stocks, but I'm not being real biased about it, but I think we could come down based on the weekly, but also if we do reclaim 365, we may push up to a value to be rejected for September, since next week is the last week of the month. So I see the hammer on the daily, but the weekly has a shooting star and it has volume to it. So just keep my eye on that, see what happens.
Yeah. So, I agree with you. Yeah. And so I'm just looking forward to see what happens. Like I said, it just wasn't enough data to make I'm mixed. That's why for SPY and QQQ, I'm mixed because I just don't see enough data on either side to support one way or the other based off of what the market can do if I just had to choose. And of course, I feel like things finished a little bearish on Friday, but they had a lot to make up, a lot of ground to make up, but I can't necessarily, I mean, just based off the time in the market, I can't, if I can make that decision or, I'll say it straight up, but I ain't, they both look mixed to me. So I'll just wait to see. I need, give me another piece of the puzzle. Maybe Monday will give us more of the piece of the puzzle to kind of give me an idea of where it could possibly go. Yeah. So,
All right.
Yeah, but I just need more data. But yeah, no, I appreciate that, bro. And but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's see how tonight open with the Asian futures market and go from there.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. Cheers.
Take care.
All right, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, do the same, bro.
Lakes should be many times bigger.
Yeah, that's all I have a good one, bro.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good one.